how much money have you made so far this year?
$120,000. If I could do it, anyone can do it. So if you're in here, you're doing this business for the right reasons, it's going to translate into the right things for yourself.
Another episode of On the Road with Signing Agent Sean. How you doing today, man?
Mark, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We are almost done with 2023. How much money have you made so far this year?
$120,000.
$120,000. We still have another month of the year. When I say you made $120,000 in 2023 so far, how do you feel when I repeat that back to you?
Blessed, honestly. It's been a tough year. Lots gone on this year. And to be able to have one of my best years, if not my best year yet, through this environment, through everything that's gone on personally, grateful. And it's the fact that we're doing this time of year means even more, so
I
I'm
love
happy.
it. You know what I love about you, this journey, is you were actually an OG student, 2018.
Yeah.
So you were a student before COVID, excited about sharing the story of perseverance, resilience, self-belief, confidence, all this stuff, man. But again, thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day to inspire the LSS Nation. So take it back to 2018, man. You've seen a few of these episodes. It's just kind of letting people know where you were to where you are today. So 2018, you became a student of mine. Talk to us about that, man.
Yeah. I mean, I was working as a transaction manager for a commercial real estate firm, Beverly Hills, making a good salary, decent living, but I wanted more. As simple as that. I wanted more, income-wise, obviously everyone wants more, but I wanted more time for myself. I wanted more time around my family. My son was 3 years old at that point. My wife was pregnant at that point, so it was just about wanting more. It was about wanting more. There was an opportunity. I was working 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 o'clock at night, if not longer. And given the nature of the business I was in, work goes beyond the traditional hours, right? You're answering phone calls, emails into the night. My health was being affected, and it was getting to a point where the input wasn't giving me the output that I wanted, and the one thing you can't take for granted you have in this life is time, right? It's something you can buy. You can buy everything else in life, but you can't buy the time. Being able to be at, my son's, as he grew up, school events, whatever it was, being able to be there was the most important thing. I had missed so much of it in his first 3 years of his life. It's tough, right? I mean, there's so many people out there, and I'm sure who have it worse than I do, that miss out on so many important milestones. You live a life of, your children through pictures, through videos, and they're your flesh and blood that you see every night. You walk into the house, but they're asleep. You can't communicate with them. So you live through these photos and videos, and you pray for a time that you can turn around and make it better for yourself, spend more time with them, and especially as he's growing up and starting to speak and kind of get more aware of his surroundings. It was really important for me to figure out a way to be there for him. It was simple as that.
Thank you for being vulnerable, by the way, man. And as a father as well, it's crazy when you say that, I was watching him grow up through photos and videos. I can see it in my head. Your wife sending you like, oh, his first steps. Here it is, but it's a video of his first steps. Or it's like, oh, he's eating avocado for the first time, but here's a video of the avocado. So instead of being able to see that yourself, you're seeing it through the video, right? And never.
And the crazy part is I worked 5 miles away from my house. You know what I mean? So it was, if you feel, not because of the job, but you feel trapped in this cyclical thing of where you're not able to give to your family, but you're also not able to give to your work because you're not wanting to be there. You're wanting to be at home, and you're not wanting to be at home because you want to be at work. So it becomes this battle, internal battle that you have to go through. And I was tired of it. I was just tired of it. I wanted my battles to be my choices. I didn't want to be given fights and battles that I wasn't up for. It was, that's what it came down to.
There is definitely a little irony of that you are only 5 miles away.
Yeah.
But yet you might as well have been around on the other side of the country, on the other side of the world. Thank you again for that vulnerability. You're probably not the only dad or mom watching this right now and saying, "Well, I can relate to that." Leaving so early in the morning that they're not up, and then coming back home and they're in bed, and then going in and just kissing their forehead, and that's kind of your interaction of the day. And so it's 2018. Your little guy's 3 years old. You know, you need a change. Did
Yeah.
becoming a signing agent really represent freedom more than it did money?
Yeah. It became an opportunity to dictate, life on my terms,
Mm.
my time, my terms. And it started putting the wheels in motion in terms of getting out of the life I was in. And, it led to, the events that it led to, would not have started had it not been for just being willing to look outside the box, being willing to kind of take a bet on yourself.
How does that make you feel now that you can be at both of your children's events? If you want, like, do you want to take the day off? Yeah, I want to take the day off. Cool, let's go hang out. Like, how freeing is that, right?
I was just looking around to see if I had my coach of the year plaque that my kids soccer team gave me. I'm telling you, like, I'm able to coach my kids soccer team. I'm wondering when my daughter's going to start, so I can start coaching her team. I'm able to take them to this event, that event. I can, block my morning off, and I can go to my son's recital, my daughter's recital, whatever it is. Like, it's my choice. That's really what it comes down to. It's like, that's it. If I want to turn things off for a day, I can turn it off. If I want to turn it up for a day, I can turn it up. Like, whatever it is. That's the beauty of what we do. And that's like, had it not been for the journey of these last 5 years, I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't go back and change a single thing. Honestly, like every step of the way, even the regrets have been learning experiences,
Mm.
and I wouldn't go back to change it. Everything happens for a reason. The struggles leading up to working as a signing agent, the struggles through becoming a signing agent, and now the struggles in terms of wherever my business is going. So it just becomes a part of what you do. And if you want to become a bigger and better person in life, in business, and whatever, you got to go through these trials, these struggles, and be appreciative of them.
I love what you just said there. I have no regrets because those incidences were learning moments, and I think people understand that more. And what I tell, what's cool about this series is everyone has their own journey, but it's the journeys that make us strong entrepreneurs. It's like sometimes you're presented an opportunity because you're ready for the opportunity, and it
Yeah,
was kind of all the moments leading up to this made you ready, because if you don't know how to struggle, then you're not going to get through the struggles of being an entrepreneur, because there are struggles of being an entrepreneur. I love that you reflect on that, and I hope everyone really heard that, because I don't think enough people reflect on their journey. I think a lot of people look at their struggles as a really a black mark on their life, when it's
yep,
really kind of a beautiful mark. Like, it prepared me for being an entrepreneur, because being an entrepreneur has its up and downs. So if you can get through the downs of life, you can get through like 2 days of no signings. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
absolutely.
I mean, how do they look at you? Like, is it just the best feeling to be like, I'm here for you whenever, however?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I think that my son, thinks I'm the worst guy at times, but then I'll catch him writing notes, and he'll come home with schoolwork just raving about, me and his mom and this and that. And when it boils down to it, like, I know that what I've given him now, that I'm able to dedicate myself more to these guys over these last couple of years, was more than anything I could have asked for.
Thank you for sharing your journey, man. I think that there's going to be a lot of people who can relate to what you just shared, and I can't personally relate to watching my child grow up through a phone, but that visual was powerful. Let's continue to talk through another inspirational part of your journey,
Yeah,
which is your income journey. I kind of spilled the beans earlier in here, but you've made more money in the previous 2 years than the two busiest years in real estate, which I think is
yeah,
inspiring just saying that. 2018, become an LSS student, you're doing this part time, right?
yeah.
How much money did you make in 2018?
$1,000 or so. It was very few signings. Yeah,
Yeah.
not too much.
2019, you're doing this part time. How much money did you make?
About $3,000, give or
So let me
take.
ask you this before we jump to it, because after 2019, you skyrocket. But there had to be some resilience in 2018 and 2019. What is that? $300 a month?
Give or
My
take.
point
Yeah.
is, why did you stick with the business? And I'm trying to teach people resilience here, right? You could have been like, I only made 3,000 bucks. This is a terrible side hustle. Because I say this because there's people right now watching this who've made $3,000 last year, and you're about to give up.
Yeah.
If you would have given up, you would not be making, you've made almost 400,000, you made $450,000 in the past 4 years. So, but if you would have given up at $3,000, you wouldn't be here. So I'm
Mm.
asking you, like, what made you just keep moving the field down, the ball down the field in our business?
Because why not? I
Mm,
mean, simple as that. Why not? I mean, for someone who was making a decent salary, working, position I was making, these signings gave a little bit of respite from what I did every day, from the monotony of being in an office every day. Right? For me, it went kind of beyond the money. It was
mm,
kind of like, hey, like this is a little bit of a taste of what it's like to own your own business. This
mm.
is kind of what it's like to do things for yourself, to kind of make money for yourself. So it was just a good way to kind of connect with people. I'm a big believer in connections with humans. I loved it. So it called to me.
We had students making six figures in 2019, but you're not comparing yourself because you're like, that's their journey. This is mine. And I think a lot of people get discouraged because they're looking at other people
Yeah.
versus just having a reflection of their own process. And that's why I wanted to ask that, because you could have easily given up, but then you wouldn't be here if you did. You know what I mean? So 2020 comes around, good old COVID happens. Take us there from your journey.
2020, beginning of the year, I accepted a position with a new company. I think it was the end of February, end of March. I left the job I was at, took a 2-week vacation to Europe. I come back to America. 7 days later, COVID shuts the world down. I mean, I like it was the craziest thing in the world. The day after COVID shuts the world down, I think it was 2 days after, I get a phone call from the firm I'm going to go work with saying, Sean, our offices are closed, obviously. We're furloughing people. We'll see you when the world opens, basically. And it was like, well, who knows? And I was like, what do I do? My daughter was born with a genetic condition that sucked what I felt like was the life out of me, dealing with it the first year she was born. My mom was just getting over her cancer diagnosis. My dad was feeling sick, just about to get diagnosed. It was a crazy time. You lose your job. You think you're doing the right thing, leaving a position that would give you security, was giving you everything you could ask for, making the wheels turn in life, right? But the time came to move along, and then when that happened, I thought the world was ending, man. I mean, COVID aside, my world revolved around kind of my immediate environment. My immediate environment was on fire,
Mm.
and it was how do I extinguish these flames? How do I rise above kind of the ashes?
You could have went two directions. You could have went to a hole and no one would blamed you.
Yeah,
What you just shared, like, dude, or you could have made the decision, do what you did, and that's get up and fight for the family, fight for your
yeah,
business. And
yeah,
you could have looked at that notary commission and been like, I've only made $3,200 in this. Or you looked at notary commission as opportunity. Because life is all about perspective. It is, what can I do? And I think it's really cool that you had every reason to hide into a ball. No one would have blamed you after what you just shared, but you didn't.
yeah.
That's the cool part. That's what makes the story inspiring. And in 2020, how much money did you make?
About $100,000.
100,000 bucks.
Yeah,
Right? Middle of COVID. 2021, what did you make?
about $105,000.
Okay. 2022 comes.
Yeah,
Rates go from 3 to 6. Before we get into all that other great stuff, how much money did you make in 2022? So you
$120,000.
made more money when interest rates were 6% than you did when interest rates were 3% for 2 straight years.
Yeah,
You see the rumblings on the internet about interest rates going to 5-year highs, 10-year highs. You end up making more in 2022. Take me through the mindset. How come you didn't panic? What did you do? How did you get through it? And how did you actually make more money in 2022 than you did in 2021?
I trust what I built.
Mm,
I spent 2020 and 2021 grinding, grinding, grinding. A little scared to kind of make a jump, into the direct signing world, into really, really being on my own at that point. But I saw that there was writing on the wall. I was getting compliments from escrow officers, not to blow my own horn, but people are saying, Sean, you're doing a great job. I see my numbers going up. I knew that what I had built wasn't going to go away because it wasn't based on the interest environment. It was based
Mm.
on the work that I had put in. It was based on me. It was based on the relationships I had developed. And if I was going to keep those relationships alive, there was no reason why that business was going to disappear.
My business isn't based off interest rates. It's based off of me. It's based off of your effort. It's based off of your relationships. What I also heard in there is 2020 and 2021, you did a lot of signing service business.
Yeah.
So what you knew in 2022 is if I was going to sustain, I got to get away from signing service and into direct. You said something I thought was great, which was I was scared, but you did it scared. Inspire somebody about how nerve-wracking it was, but knowing that success was on the other side of your nerves.
Because that's where you get the most growth. When you're comfortable doing something, it's like anything else. You don't get any benefit out of it. When you're doing something scared, you're either learning something new, you're doing something you haven't done before. There's a benefit, whether or not you see it at the time or not, that you're getting out of it. It's as simple as that. So for me, I knew walking to these offices, setting up the title appointments, the title agency appointments, whatever it may have been, was going to pay off. I had gone through the flame. I had lost my job, all that stuff aside, like how much worse could I have possibly gotten that? It couldn't have gotten any worse, right? So it was only up for me. And I knew that if I leaned into it, did it scared, like you mentioned, we'd be okay.
Yeah, what I just heard was someone refused to go back to where they were.
Yeah.
Right? You refused to go back to those moments of like, someone else laid you off. Like your destiny was not in your own hands. It was literally in somebody else's. But yet you made the decision of like, interest rates are going up. If I'm going to stay in this business, I got to do something I'm not comfortable doing. And you said it best. That's when you know you're growing. When you're always comfortable, you're not growing. If I tell people if you're not growing, you're dying. And I hate to be that harsh, but it's the truth. Like if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Absolutely.
There's no like plateau in life. You're either getting better or getting worse. There's no in between. And if that clicks, everything changes. And for you, it's like, look, I was living the easy life with answering notification over notification. I refused to go back. So I believed in myself enough to be like, look, I've been doing this for 2 years. I'm getting compliments, people liking my work. Then the natural next step was to go direct. And I just had to do it scared. Your why was huge. And therefore the how was easy. The how was I got to do it scared. I'm going to shake. I'm going to be nervous. And I appreciate your vulnerability of just being authentically you, right? The authentically you is you're emotional because you don't need to be somebody you're not in this business. You just got to be you. And if you're emotional, then be emotional. If you're loud and rowdy, be loud and rowdy. There's no right answer. And so anyways, man, I hope everybody heard that, right? When the why is big, the how is easy. Let's get to this year. You're at 120 grand.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to finish the year probably close to 130. Why are you making more money in a higher interest rate environment than the previous 3 years? So why do you think you're making more money now than the 3 years previous that had lower interest rates? What say you?
I mean, I leaned into my network. I leaned into everything I had built. I trusted that my business was going to carry me through the tough times, and it has. And it's important to adapt. It's important to adapt to the market too, right? I mean, if you see business declining from one aspect of signings, lean into the network that gives you businesses on the other side. That is feeding you. My retail business in LA, Los Angeles, we had the strikes, recently. That affected the retail market's existing single family home sales, right? So I leaned into my new builds. I leaned into a different market where people were
such good advice. I mean, Sean, first off, dude, I hope I said enough. I'm proud of you, man. I know we talk on IG, like getting to know you better through this conversation. It's not surprising me you're this successful. Your refinance business is dried up. Then start marketing to escrow officers who specialize in purchases because purchases are still red hot. And then if the purchase market starts to drop, then maybe you go market to people who are doing reverse mortgages. It's always adapting, and there's always some part of the industry that's flourishing, right? Home equity line of credits right now are flourishing. So it's like, okay, so this part of my business is dried up. That doesn't mean I panic. It doesn't mean I go on the internet, say it's slow, and fear monger, because it's not. It's unbelievable right now. But I'm just going to pivot. I'm going to go to new builds. Right? If new builds dry up, okay, now the actors and actresses are back on. So let me go pivot back over here. But it's what you're saying. It's a constant dance. And that's what good business owners are. It's not linear. I think too many people get in this business and think it's linear. Like all refinances should just go up in volume. All purchases should go up in volume. All HELOCs should go up in volume. No, they're going to move independent of each other. Your job is to kind of move the lines as it's rotating, fluctuating, excuse me. Wow, what an incredible conversation, man. I mean, I hope everyone hears the business mindset. That's why I bring everybody on. You have different POVs, but I think people need to really pick up on what you said is you keep using the word lean into relationships. It's taken you 5 years to get here, so you have more than most, but it didn't happen overnight. I think a lot of people hear that, right?
Yeah.
You've really only been direct marketing for 2 years. You're making more money working less
Yeah.
now. Talk about that.
Yeah, this year, I mean, it's been a year of personal growth, business growth. I've done maybe 80% of the signings I normally do on a yearly basis, and I'm already more income wise than I was any other year. Every avenue and every new type of contract or purchase or signing I've come across has allowed me to pass that on to my next officer, right? Say, hey, by the way, now I'm doing these type of signings and I'm familiar with this now. And, I'm working in these type of loans, and every single step you're building not only your confidence, but the confidence people have in you and your abilities and your skills, So 2023 was a year where I've really been able to flex my skills. I haven't worked this year like I did the last 4 years. Was able to tend to family matters. I mean, it's just really important to kind of, for me to keep in perspective, even though my numbers didn't necessarily hit where I wanted them this year, where I wanted to be, another part of my life grew and developed in a way that I never anticipated.
This has been a 5-year journey, 6-year journey almost.
Yeah.
And this wasn't an overnight success.
Yeah.
And I mean, next year is going to be even bigger. I've no doubt about it. Let's go into that one nugget that I want to get from every one of you successful signing agents. So if your best friend comes to you and says, Sean, I want to build a business. There's 40 million things to do. It's overwhelming, but I need one piece of advice. What would one piece of advice to help somebody scale their business? What would that be from you?
I think we've talked about it and touched on it. Do it scared. Do it scared and lean into what you built. You're going to have to really, at times buckle up and be ready for the worst of times and know that those experiences will carry you through the great times when times are easy. I mean, I did it scared day one when I lost my job, right? The first signing I took after that, I was terrified. Is this going to be how I live my life? Is this going to sustain me? Then I started doing direct work after my signing service work. I was scared to move into that aspect of it, but eventually I did that. And now, over the course of the last year and a half, the direct work, I'm fighting, even myself, I'm fighting my anxiety, my nervousness of letting go of the direct work and building a signing service and building, a company basically for myself, And so there's never going to be a time where you're comfortable in your skin in this business. If you're comfortable in your skin, then you're too complacent with what you have. And maybe you have all the riches you need, but it goes beyond, again, income. There's got to be something else that drives you, that you want in your life, that you need. And for me, it was a time for my family, and doing it scared has helped me every step of the way. So I have no doubt that, if I shake going into my next appointment, if I misspeak at a networking event, so be it. I did it, and it'll show itself. The fruits of it will show itself down the road.
Well, I mean, first off, thank you again for your vulnerability. It really pulling back the curtains on signing agents' journeys helps other new ones realize they're not alone. And so I say that because you were scared 3 major times, right? When you first did your first closing, when you went to signing service to direct, and now building your signing service. And every time you do it scared, that just means you're growing. Every single time you do it. But what I love about you is successful people run into the fear. They don't run away from it. And I think your piece of advice is do it scared is remembering that there is success on the other side of those nerves. There's success on the other side of fear. And thank you for letting everybody know that they're not alone. Because that's the important of your piece of advice is if you're scared right now, like I've been there. Like, in fact, I love what you said. I'm currently there because now I'm scaling to a signing service and I have a little bit of fear of letting go. Like the fear is always representing itself.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the biggest thing that I think has helped me this year and the last few years leading into this LSS network. I mean, you preach what a nation we are, what kind of network we built or you've built for us these last 5-6 years. Longer than that, the 5-6 years that I've been a part of it. I took for granted what kind of network we had. The first 2-3 years I was a part of this network, I wasn't really. I was kind of on the periphery. I paid attention to our groups. I was kind of in and out of the conversation. But the last year and a half or so, I really have built out relationships and kind of mentors inside of this group who have helped me come to where I am. So if I have to say anything else, it's just lean into who we are as a group, what we offer to each other, and don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be intimidated and envious of other people's journeys. Your journey, like you said, is your own, and how you go about getting to your mountaintop is your path. It's your road. You know what I mean? And you can't expect everyone's road bumps to be the same on yours. And that's really what it comes down to.
You were making 100 grand a year, 100 grand a year, and you realize you still weren't getting the most out of the loan signing system community. And you are humble enough to go back in and be like, who can I learn from? And again, this is a 6-figure signing agent saying, I wish I would have leaned into the community more and had more of those mentors. And you're $100,000 signing agent saying this.
Yeah.
So if a 6-figure signing agent can tell everybody watching, lean into the community more, you should be leaning into the community more. If you're watching this video making $1,000 a month, you should not feel too big for your britches to reach out to someone making $3,000 a month, right? Reaching out to someone who makes $4,000 a month and creating those relationships, because the LSS family is the best part of the loan signing system. And so I love that your continuing piece of advice is to lean into the community, because I don't think enough people really do that. Help another LSS family member kind of figure out how you reached out without being awkward.
I think it's really important to find, an accountability partner, someone who's not on the same path, but in the same part of the journey as you. Right? Someone who's going through the same experiences, same growing pains, the same issues that you're having in your aspect of the business, and find out what they're doing right, what they're doing more than you are to help you grow. Don't look at someone who's doing $30,000-$40,000 a month when you're doing $3,000 a month and be like, oh man, the world's ending, I'm never going to get there, and give up. Find the agent, like you said, that's doing $5,000-$6,000 a month. Find the guy that's going to get you to the next increment, right? Get 1% better every day, whatever it is. Like, just work at getting yourself built up to a certain level. We have a Facebook group where we all are literally posting our thoughts about this business day and night. I went through there. I found out the agents that were really kind of surviving and doing well in the tough times, and who was kind of growing out their business the way that I anticipated and hoped to build out mine. And I reached out to them. It was literally a message. Hi, so-and-so, I'm part of Mark's LSS group. Do you have a moment for me to ask you some questions? Or, hey, do you mind grabbing coffee with me? I'm going to be in your area, so-and-so. Do you mind sitting with me for a quick chat? It really is that simple.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, even the smallest tidbit, how much is going to exponentially help your business.
Entrepreneurship is lonely if you make it lonely.
Yeah.
And you were talking about your first 3 years, you're rolling as a solo, and you're like, dude, I need to get some accountability. Now I'm making 100 grand. Rates are going higher. I got to figure out who else is trying to, build their business in the normal interest rate market of 6%. And you reached out and you made those connections. And so I love that your trailing piece of advice is to utilize the community more and don't be afraid to reach out. And let me kind of wrap up with this, man. If Sean can build this business, can anybody, and why?
Yeah, I'm 39. I spent 36 years building a business for somebody else. In 3 years, I've done more for myself, business-wise, personal relationship-wise, than I've ever anticipated doing, ever thought I could do. So, if I could do it, anyone can do it. I'm not a good public speaker. I'm not a guy who likes to be up in front of people all the time. I'm shaking right now talking to you, even though I've known, you for 5-6 years now. It's just the way I am. And it's just a part of leaning into who you are as a person. Your genuine self is going to shine through all of this, no matter what. So if you're in here, you're doing this business for the right reasons, it's going to translate into the right things for yourself. If you're in it for the wrong reasons, the business will leave you, behind, and you'll be struggling to find out why. But it's be reflective, be appreciative, be grateful for what you have, and like we've talked about, lean into it. Be scared, your network, LSS Nation, lean. That's it. Just be confident in what you have to offer to everyone.
You can be all those things you just said. Not a good public speaker, nervous, shaking, but that doesn't mean you can't be confident.
Yeah.
I think too many people go, "Oh, I'm not a good public speaker." That equals lack of confidence. No, you can just get nervous in front of people. That's normal, but that doesn't mean you can't believe in your notarial skills. You can't believe in how you have a heart-driven business. You can believe in you want them to succeed as much as you want to succeed. So, because everything you just said, someone could use as an excuse. Like, I get nervous in front of people. I don't like public speaking. I shake when I talk. And those are all just limiting beliefs. You can have those attributes, but still be confident, still believe in yourself, and still know that you really want to serve. And like you said, if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you never make the money. But if you do it for the right reasons, which I think is serving, trying to help the person you're trying to work, and they're not a dollar sign, but they're an actual realtor trying to feed their family. They're an escrow officer trying to feed their family. You're just trying to support that. That's the right reasons.
You're in the right business when you can walk into a signing and all that fear, all that nervousness, all that melts away. The calmest I am as a person is when I have these documents in front of me and I'm sitting with a borrower, with a seller, and I'm walking in through one of the biggest financial decisions they'll ever make in their lives. That's when I shine the brightest. That's when I'm me the most.
Yeah.
And that's when I know, like, the lights are on, and that's when, you got to flourish.
I mean, your story is unbelievably awesome. I mean, you got laid off in 2020 and you looked at a notary stamp and you could have been like, "Oh, I only made $3,000 last year. I got to find another job." But you look at that notary stamp, and I say that because when opportunity knocks, you got to answer the door. And it knocked and you answered instead of turning down the knock saying, "Oh, you can't make much as a notary." You said, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it. I'm going to believe in myself, and I'm going to believe in the system, and most importantly, be confident about it." And where you're at, man. And now you're starting a signing service. You want to plug your signing service real quick for notaries who might want to sign up?
STN signings in Los Angeles. I love working with notaries nationwide. I'm starting to grow. I think I work with like 24, 25 different states now. So I'm getting out there. If you guys want to send me your information, I'd love to keep you guys in my database and reach out when I have something for you.
I love it. And he looks for and prefers loan signing system certified signing agents.
Number one.
So if you're LSS certified, email him. I'll put his signing service in the comments below. Man, thank you for the past 45 minutes, dude. What an epic conversation.
I appreciate you.
So thankful for you. I'm proud of you, dog. And I'm gonna end with this. You're still scratching the surface.
Yeah. That's exciting. That's exciting. I know.
The best part is you believe it. And so that's why you're going to achieve it. So anyways, brother, I'll talk to you later. Bye, bro.
All right, Mark. Take it easy, guys.